Hey everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started in a few minutes. My name is Bree and this is going to be gentle yoga. All you'll need today is a mat, or you don't even need a mat, and just have a comfy position, and we'll get started in just a moment. We will get started in just a moment. Again, my name is Bree and this is gentle yoga. So before we get started, I'm going to be sitting on a pillow. This is something you can have here at your house, and I will be teaching here in my living room. So I will go ahead and place my pillow on my mat, and we're going to start out in a cross-legged position, if you will. So to start out, we'll go ahead, sit cross-legged, finding those sits bones, and taking a deep breath in, maybe closing our eyes, and just to start that focus within as we begin to transition for class. I'm going to just adjust this real quick. There we go. Hands can rest in the lap, or they can rest on those knees. Shoulders down and away from those ears. Now here in my living room, I have just some sounds that I'm playing on my Alexa or sound, here at my house. Due to copyright issues and rules, I'm not going to play any loud music. But if you would like some type of calming playlist, you can play it from your phone while we practice today. It's not you don't have to have it. It just kind of helps you relax and kind of get ready for class. Go ahead and start with that breathing in through the nose and breathing out. Letting that air fill the lungs all the way and releasing it all out. I'm going to take a moment to focus on that breath, closing those eyes. So today's class is going to be a little bit slower pace. We'll have some movement, a little bit more than last week. But really today's class is all about relaxing, finding that focus, and just letting yourself just kind of ease and relax and de-stress. But like I said, there are some movements today that we will have. Continuing to breathe. letting go of any stresses or worries that we may have through today. Lifting from the crown of the head, we'll drop that head down, maybe bringing those hands heart center. In this part of class, I always let my students, whether they have any kind thoughts, prayers, or mantras that they would like to say to themselves, they may do so. If we don't know what a mantra is, it's just a short saying or sentence that we say to ourselves over and over, such as, "Today I'm going to have a good day," or "I am blessed in all that I have." And as we say whatever we want to say, allowing that mind to clear little bit by little bit. Finding that overall stillness within. Once again, resting those hands in the lap. We're going to start to move that neck gently from side to side. Going over to the right as we exhale. Inhale, we'll lift up. And exhale once again, bringing over to the left side. Feeling that stretch. Never forcing any movement. Side to side. And as we move with that gentle ease, we'll move with that breath. And now we'll take it over to the right side, taking that left hand close to the mat, just adding a little bit of a stretch. Continuing to breathe. And bring that hand back. Lift the head and just take it over now to that other side. Letting that head hang heavy. One more deep breath. Hand comes in, lifting up. Take a couple of other deep breaths in through the nose. And we're going to bring that left hand onto the mat. And we're going to reach over now with that right hand to the left side, stretching through the side of the body. Reaching from fingertip up to the sky, adding that side tilt. Bring it up and take it over now to the other side, reaching. Couple more deep breaths right here. And bring it back Hands come heart center. Release as we inhale, reach up. And exhale, press away. Rising up as we inhale once again. Exhale. Adding bigger movement with our bodies, but still moving with the breath. And one more. As we inhale, rise up. Hands come heart center. Bow that head down. And we're going to transition now, removing that pillow if we used it. And we're just going to come into tabletop. Knees are hip distance apart. Drawing that belly in. I'm going to turn opposite way. There we go. And going into cat and cow, we will move with the breath as we exhale, rounding towards the ceiling. And as we inhale, dropping that belly and moving once again through that spine. Moving with the breath. Now this is a bit much for those wrists. You may make fists. And that allows you to have a different stance or hand placement. But moving vertebrae by vertebrae, stretching out those shoulders all the way down the spine to the tailbone. One more cat and cow. And we're going to take those knees a little bit wider, as wide as the mat, bringing those big toes together. And we're going to sink back, fingertips on the mat, stretching into child's pose. So we're going to drop that head down, holding it here, breathing in and breathing out. I'm going to get up for just a moment, but holding that child's pose. My music stopped, so I'm just playing some more music for me. Sorry about that. But we're still in that child's pose, allowing ourselves to sink into that mat. Letting that head drop down. So as we exhale, allowing ourselves to sink more into that mat. So we'll breathe in, and then exhaling, sinking down a little bit more. On our next inhale, we'll lift up just slightly, walking ourselves over to the right side. So our right hand will come off completely off the mat. Pressing back, feeling a stretch on that left side of the body. So we're kind of at a curved child's pose, if you will. Bring yourself closer to the mat. One more deep breath. We'll come on up. And we're going to walk it over now to the left side, pressing back. Holding ourselves there, facing the mat, sinking down with each breath, bringing ourselves closer to the mat. There we go. You may even feel a stretch in that back. And walk yourself back, shifting forward into that tabletop. And once again, cat and cow, pressing through those fingertips to equal out the weight, moving in and out through that spine. Find one more cat and cow. This time, we're going to curl our toes onto the mat, spreading those fingertips nice and wide. If we made those fists, we're going to go ahead and open up for now. We're going to lift our hips up into our first down dog. So take a moment, stretch it out. Feel yourself into this pose. Adjust if needed. Maybe widen that stance, pressing back. Maybe adding a bend in those knees if we feel a little bit tight. But just take a moment to breathe. You want to make sure those shoulders are near the ears as you hold that down dog. Grounding those feet and hands. We're going to take a moment to just pedal out those feet. Heels close to the mat. It doesn't matter if they touch. Little bend in those knees. We're going to step to the middle of the mat. Grounding those toes and heel. Bend in those knees. We'll ragdoll up. Whew. And we'll find ourselves in mountain pose. Take a moment to roll those shoulders back. Come back to where we started. So as we stand here, we want to make sure we have a soft bend in those knees. Couple more deep breaths right here. Bringing those hands heart center. We're going to turn to face either side of the mat. It doesn't matter. So we'll be sideways, pressing those feet into the mat. We're going to step back, getting a bend in both knees. Core is pulled in, tailbone dropped. We're going to bring our hands up, coming into crescent pose. So our toes, both our toes, are going to be facing forward. Hands come up, or we may bring them heart center. Now if we want to, make our stance a little bit wider, we might find ourselves getting lower into that crescent, but we want to make sure that knee does not go past that toe. So being mindful of that back toe, we're going to lift up and we're going to drop that heel down. Taking a moment to adjust, front heel in line with that back arch. Extending those hands out, we're going to come to warrior two. Energy shooting through both of those fingertips. Holding it strong. And as we exhale, we're going to drop that back hand down, or it may come behind your back. We're going to flip that front palm, reach up, reversing the warrior. We're going to bring that elbow down to that front thigh, sweeping that arm up, coming into side angle. You may look down at those toes, up at that hand, whatever you prefer. Next inhale, bringing it back up, warrior two. Hands come heart center, and we're going to pivot the front foot, whoop, and we're facing the side of the mat. So both of our toes are facing forward now. So what we just did, we're going to now do on the other side. So just to adjust, we're going to turn this foot to face my couch. So warrior two, front heel, front heel is in line with the back arch. Hands come out, warrior two. Holding it strong, feeling that strength within the body. Just to change it up a little bit, we're going to bend that elbow, reach up, side angle. Looking down or looking up. One more deep breath within, and we're going to circle that arm up back to warrior two, maybe dropping it a little bit lower. And to transition to crescent pose, we'll bring our hands heart center, up on that back tippy toe, being careful. We're just going to pivot now, facing forward. Hands can be heart center or extend up. So right to where we started. Let's bring those hands heart center, and we're going to step right into chair pose. So bringing those feet hip distance apart, sinking down, core, everything pulled in like a little lightning bolt shape. Hands come heart center. You may face the front of the mat, or I'm going to turn to show you, making sure those knees are nice and parallel. Holding it for one more breath. We'll come up to shake it out. And then once again, as we exhale, sinking back down into that chair pose. Maybe a little bit lower than before. Making sure we are breathing. And as we inhale, bringing it back up. Coming back into that mountain pose, shaking it out. Taking a moment to find that focus. So our next, we're going to take our feet a little bit wider. Have a little bend in those knees. We're going to bring our hands onto our hips. Tailbone back, we're going to sink it forward. Finding a little bit of a stretch in the back of the knees, back of the legs. So we may place our hands right above that knee. We may feel the stretch right here. Really opening up the back of the legs, or we may sink it a little bit further, maybe placing one hand, then the other down to the floor. Really opening up the back of those legs, those hamstrings, those calves. Just taking a moment, letting yourself sink into that pose with the breath as we inhale. Then exhale, letting yourself fall a little bit more forward into that stretch. We're going to hang here for a moment. Slowly dropping that head down. You may shake that head yes and no to avoid any tension built up that we may have in that neck and shoulders. Hanging out right here for a moment. Walking it over now to the left side. We're going to grab that toe, back of the heel. And now, as we inhale, walking it over now to the other side. And take it center once again, bending those knees. We're going to find ourselves coming back into that tabletop facing, doesn't matter what side of the mat. Taking those knees wide once again, sinking back into that child pose. Letting that forehead touch the mats if you're able to. Take a moment to breathe in and breathe out. When you're ready, come on up. And we're going to come into that seated position once again. Crossing those legs, sitting up nice and tall. I will be using a pillow. Having a pillow or bolster or even a blanket rolled up allows you to kind of sit up a little bit taller. Sometimes when we sit without it, we might crunch forward. So adding that pillow, we're able to lengthen that spine, if you will. Letting that mind come back, hands on those knees. So we had a little bit of movement today, but we're going to start to slow it down. And for this last part of class, we're going to focus on grounding. Grounding ourselves, grounding that mind. Especially now with everything going on, we might find ourselves kind of, spacey or just, all over the place, and that's okay. This class, or this last part of class, is going to allow us to kind of stop, ground ourselves within, which allows us to kind of clear that mind and be like, okay, what can I do next to kind of help with everyday life? So, grounding ourselves allows us to feel a little bit more of control within. So as we exhale, focus on those sits bones, those feet as they are planted onto the mat. Noticing how that mat feels. If you'd like, you may drop that chin to chest. Imagine you are part of the mat, growing little roots within. For this last part of class, as we transition, you may stay in this spot, legs crossed, sitting up. I personally am going to stay up, but you can also lie all the way down, coming into Shavasana. So if we come down all the way into mat, we let those hands rest upon the mat, palms facing up, and legs extend out as wide as the mat. Rolling those shoulders back, we let ourselves, again, rest on that mat. Imagine that mat is like a pillow and you're just sinking down, releasing any tension or anything from that body, finding complete stillness. Still focusing on that grounding. Take a moment to notice how that mat feels against the back of the head. Maybe those shoulders, hips, all the way down to those heels. And with each spot within our body, take a moment to focus on each part. Taking a few seconds, maybe with the back of the head, going all the way down, or reversing it, starting with the heels, all the way up. Noticing how we feel. and start to wiggle those toes, allowing life to come back into the body. If you'd like to continue with Shavasana, you can pause and continue as long as you'd like. Otherwise, we'll come back to this moment. If we are in Shavasana, go ahead and bend those knees, rocking side to side, drawing those knees to chest. Nice and easy. And we'll start to roll forward and back through that spine. And when you're ready, you'll come up to a seated position and we'll all meet in that cross-legged position, all coming together. And just like before, if you have any thoughts, prayers, or mantra, take a moment to say it to yourself, taking a few breaths to do so. When you're finished, we'll bring our hands heart center, bowing that head slightly down. And as we finish today, remember the light in me honors the light in you. May you go the rest of today with ease, focus, and control. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Bree, and this was a mini yoga, gentle yoga / meditation class today. Great for lunchtime to just kind of stop and refocus. I teach every day, or no, I'm sorry, not every day. Hello, every Tuesday at 12:30 here. Well, so far here in my living room, but we will start hopefully in the fall back at CSU. And if you have any questions for any updates or programs that we may be offering virtually right now, you may go to our CSU Campus Rec Cougars page on Facebook. We also have our Instagram page as well for any updates as different activities as well. So thank you so much for joining me, and may you go the rest of today great and happy. Thank you so much.